Hey everyone, welcome to the Roto Grinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie TPFL. It's November, it's the 9th of November, it's 2016. It's a Wednesday, and we have a ton of basketball games to break down here on tonight's slate. We have 11 games tonight, bunch of injury news, a bunch of totals kind of waiting to come out here on us on the Morning Grind, so you'll have to pay attention to see what those come out at tomorrow. As you're listening to the podcast, you can go back and kind of compare the lines like we always tell you guys to do. So make sure you guys are checking that out. But it's Wednesday, so that means it's Notorious. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I've been following this election all night, and I'm pretty surprised at the results.
Well, nothing's official yet, but I couldn't be happier. We don't need to get into politics too much on this show, but I am happy. I can't lie.
Yeah, I'm not too into politics, so I don't have too big of an opinion. But hopefully, our country will be all right. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. You just gotta kind of see what happens. I don't think there was a good choice on either one. So, that's kind of how the cookie crumbles. Is that how that saying goes?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
All right. Well, if you guys haven't checked out our sponsor, Rosters.com, make sure you head on over there, check them out. Use promo code Grinders. That way you guys get incentives here at Roto Grinders. Make sure you guys are giving them a look. A lot of basketball stuff up, a lot of football stuff up, so check them out. It's a little tougher cap, which is always a little bit funner to play. Reminds me of the Draft Street days when we had a tough cap. I definitely like the tougher cap.
Oh, I miss the Draft Street days.
I'm sure you do, my friend. If people don't know, you were Captain Draft Street.
Yeah, that's where I started playing. Actually, took me a while to get used to FanDuel and DraftKings once they shut down.
All right, well, let's get into it. We have 11 games, so we have a lot to talk about. As always, we'll break down the games and we'll talk injury news. And we're going to start with Boston heading to Washington. We already have the injury news here. Jay Crowder out and Al Horford out. These two guys did not travel with the team, so they're not going to play. Kelly Olynyk is questionable. He did travel with the team, so that's something we need to pay attention to. And then on the Washington side, nothing going on here as far as injury news. No line in this game yet. What's your thoughts here on the Celtics?
It'll be interesting to see. Did you say Al Horford's questionable or out?
He's out. Him and Crowder both did not travel.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't a line on this game yet. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I think you can still look to Amir Johnson and Tyler Zeller down low. The Wizards haven't been particularly good in their front court defensively, and they're ranked below the league average in rebounding differential. So if you need a cheap big guy, I don't mind Johnson and Zeller. I'm going to keep playing Isaiah Thomas. I know the Wizards have been tough on point guards this season, but I always like targeting guys against John Wall. Historically hasn't been a great defender. And then Avery Bradley, always on my radar, averaging 37 minutes and 36 fantasy points per game this season.
Yeah, and the minutes, we just don't see that. Expect that to go down. Gets a couple extra shots with Crowder being out. What's your thoughts on Jaylen Brown here as a value play?
Yeah, I didn't play him the first night when he went off against the Cavs. I was worried about the matchup against LeBron. And then I did play him the other night in the easy matchup, and he didn't really do anything. So I think you can play him, especially on FanDuel at 3,700. I don't think he's a must, as like some of the other value plays that we see every once in a while, but I think he's in play.
Yeah, and I don't even think you have to worry about ownership. It's an 11-game slate. I'm not too worried about ownership tonight on the slate. And you mentioned Avery Bradley. Love Avery Bradley here. Love wings against Washington. That's been a thing for a couple years now. So love that call. Do not mind Isaiah Thomas in tournaments here. Looking at the Washington side of things here, like I said, no injury news. Bradley Beal starting to get his feet wet and shooting the ball a lot better. What's your thoughts here on Washington?
Yeah, the Celtics have been surprisingly bad defensively this year. They're ranked 27th or worse in points allowed per game, defensive efficiency, rebounding differential, and fantasy points allowed per game. So kind of a big difference from last year where they were one of the most efficient defensive teams. So I think you can target quite a few Wizards here. I always like John Wall at home. He's averaging 43 fantasy points a game, and he's got an insane true usage of 35% this season. We're seeing Bradley Beal bounce back a little bit, averaging 31 over his last 3 games. But he's got a tough matchup against Avery Bradley. I don't think I'm going to go back to that well tonight. But I think both the bigs here are going to be in play. Markieff Morris coming off that dud against the Rockets. Great bounce back spot for him. And then Marcin Gortat just playing huge minutes. They keep saying they're going to eventually cut into his minutes, but until they do, I think you can keep playing him at this price.
Yeah, until we see it happen. It's all coaches talk until we see it happen. That's kind of how I feel. And if I get burned on it, I've made enough money by Gortat doing what he's been doing that I'll be okay if I get burned by it one night. So what's your thoughts here on Otto Porter? We have Jaylen Brown here. We don't have Crowder, so that's a bump for Otto Porter. You mentioned Avery Bradley guarding Beal. That could lead to an extra couple of shots for Porter. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely like that call. He's one of those guys that just so inconsistent. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's tough to use in cash games on a full slate, but small forward's always tough. So if you're looking for, that second small forward on FanDuel, I don't mind him at 5,200. Probably not a guy you got to look at on DraftKings, especially since Markieff Morris is small forward eligible there.
Let's move on. We have Brooklyn visiting New York. 212.5 total here. New York's favored by 8.5. Jeremy Lin out. Vasquez is questionable for this game. Randy Foye returned here. We'll have to see what they do with him on a back-to-back. I haven't heard anything, but it was a hamstring injury, so it would not shock me if we see him sit here. Start with the Brooklyn side. We have two teams that don't play defense. What's your thoughts on Brooklyn here?
Yeah, definitely a good game environment for fantasy production. Another note I want to make, Brook Lopez could be rested. They've been resting him in back-to-back sets. He played quite a few minutes last night, so definitely something to keep your eye on. I love Sean Kilpatrick. He's been playing big minutes, and he's pretty much been the backup point guard since Jeremy Lin went down. He's averaging close to a fantasy point per minute, and I could see him upwards of 30 minutes in this one.
Yeah, I like that call. Do not mind Trevor Booker. If Lopez sits, we could even look at Justin Hamilton as a value play.
Yeah, for sure. He's been, his minutes have been cutting into or been, lower lately. But, if Lopez is out, he gets the start. He'll be a great value play. And then Isaiah Whitehead, I haven't been playing him yet, but he's been pretty good in his first two starts. I'm just still concerned about the minutes.
The minutes are the concerning thing with him, right? Like, we expect him to get a bump, and then we only see 23 and 26. Randy Foye's back now. It just adds another body there. It's concerning to me. I'm not going to go there, especially on a 13 or 11 game slate.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't think you need to go that cheap, and it's not like he's min salary anyway.
Looking at the New York side, man, a team that's just been disappointing. That's not shocking to anybody, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I said New York, not very good, but that doesn't shock anybody.
Yeah. Surprise. The Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony hasn't been working out together. I'm not sure what to expect here. I mean, the Nets are the worst team in the NBA in fantasy points allowed per game, so this is a spot where we should like the Knicks. I just don't know where to look.
Can we just keep playing Melo at this price? I keep falling into it, and I'm just gonna keep playing him. I feel like especially in if you're playing cash games, you're getting a guy like Carmelo at a really solid probably 30-point floor every night.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't been as productive as last season, but like you mentioned, his floor's been high, his price has been down. And his usage has been really high. So, I mean, I'm expecting a breakout game eventually and certainly in play against the Nets on a back-to-back.
Yeah, and remember, 2 back-to-back 40-point fantasy games for Melo, and his price did not go up. If you want to take a flyer, I don't mind Derrick Rose in the tournament. That's kind of it for me. I'm not going crazy here. I love picking on Brooklyn with centers, but Noah's minutes are just too inconsistent for me to even take a shot in a tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And, Courtney Lee's been seeing a ton of minutes, but like we mentioned, 11-game slate, don't really need to take too many wild punts.
All right, this game is in my hometown. I'm definitely not going. Minnesota at Orlando. We have a 200 total in this game. Orlando's favored by 2. Only injury news that we have here. Ricky Rubio is still out for this game. And how is Orlando even favored? Let's be realistic. They're not going to win a game.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is just that the Wolves are playing in a back-to-back. But yeah, I'd be surprised.
Sure.
I still like the Wolves in this one.
Yeah, they're winning this game. We'll start with Minnesota. What stands out to you here? I know they're on a back-to-back. How much are we thinking about the back-to-back, or are we still targeting them heavy here against the Magic?
So they're a young team, and the good news, I mean, Chris Dunn saw very limited minutes last night. Tyus Jones came off the bench and just went nuts, which wasn't great for my cash games on FanDuel, but it could be good for his minutes in this game. And then Karl Anthony Towns got into foul trouble, so he didn't play a full complement of minutes. So I think both of those guys are in pretty decent bounce back spots. I will say that this is kind of a bad game overall to target both these teams in the bottom 10 in pays of play, and neither team's projected to score more than 101 points.
Yeah, we don't have some totals in some of the other games, but maybe outside of Utah, Charlotte, this is probably going to be one of the lowest totals on the slate if I had to guess.
Yeah, and that's just something we got to keep in mind when making lineups. I mean, last season, both of these defenses were teams we like to pick on. But so far, I mean, they've just been playing at such a slow pace.
Yeah, and we look at the Orlando side, just nothing, man. Nothing for me. I just don't see nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Vucevic, and the Wolves haven't been great against centers. But Karl Anthony Towns is a guy who I think is a really good defender, so I'm not going to look there. Elfrid Payton's coming off of 2 kind of bad games in a row, maybe a deep tournament flyer.
I guess I'm just not going there. His price, I feel like there's other guys that I would take a shot. I would take a shot on Dunn on the other side before I take a shot on him.
Yeah, I agree. But hey, if the Magic are going to win, somebody's got to score.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're not going to win, so I don't have to worry about it. We're going to move on because that game is just ugly. We have Utah at Charlotte. Guessing the reason that we don't have a line in this game yet, George Hill, questionable. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, questionable. Roy Hibbert is upgraded to questionable. A lot of question marks here in this game. It's a 7 o'clock game, which is always good when we're coming to injuries. What are we doing with Utah here?
Yeah, I mean, if George Hill's out, Shelvin Mack saw 28 minutes the other night against the Sixers, and that was in a game where he came out with 6 minutes left due to a blowout. So if George Hill's out, I do expect Mack to see the bulk of the work. A lot of people expected Dante Exum to split those minutes, but I think Mack could see 30 in this one if the game stays close. So I mean, he's an interesting punt. Gordon Hayward's been good since coming back from his injury, but I don't think I want to pay that much for him, especially if Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is active. But the guy I want to talk about is Derek Favors. Had 41 fantasy points the other night, and he played 29 minutes. So if he's going to see 30 minutes per game moving forward, you got to like him at a price under $6K.
Almost jumped on it last time they played. I'm not going to make that mistake here. I'm definitely going to jump on it. I just don't see a lot here. Not anything that piques my interest too much. Rodney Hood still putting up a ton of shots each game. So if you want to play him in a tournament, you're going to get double-digit shots. You're going to get around 30 minutes. So I don't mind him here. That's kind of it for me outside the guys that you mentioned.
Yep. Yeah, I think Hood's in play, especially on FanDuel. But, I think those are the guys we want to look at.
Then Charlotte, it becomes a big question mark. If MKG is out, that opens up a lot of, that opens up 28 to 30 minutes. And then if Hibbert's back, it destroys the value that we've been getting out of Zeller and Haas. So a lot of question marks on the Charlotte team here tonight.
Yeah, I'll make it easy. Let's just avoid them. I mean, Jazz dead last in pace, 3rd in fantasy points allowed per game. I guess Batum could see a boost in minutes if MKG's out, but I don't like targeting players against the Jazz, especially with so many games on the slate.
I will say that in a tournament, if George Hill is out, I'll probably have a little bit of exposure to Kemba Walker in tournaments, because then I think it becomes a plus matchup for him if he gets Mac here.
Yeah, that could be a good call, actually. Only 7,000 on DraftKings. I'm not sure why his salary came down after his big game the other night, but that's definitely interesting.
Philly at Indy, 209 total in this game, minus 12 for Indy. Looking at the Philly side of things, Embiid, did I say right?
Yeah, got it.
All right. Well, if I do this every day, I would hope that I get it right. He's already been ruled out for this game, didn't even travel. They're going to be trying to limit the back-to-backs, limit the minutes, limit as much as he can. Thompson is probable. I know he missed practice yesterday, but still probable in this game. And then on the Indy side, Rodney Stuckey still out. We'll start with Philadelphia. What are we doing here?
Oh, this is an ugly spot. This game has blowout written all over it. Like you mentioned, they're going to be without their best player in Embiid, and on the road against a pretty decent Pacers team. I'm not in love with anyone here. I mean, I think Jahlil Okafor is at least interesting. He should play 24 minutes, and he should see a usage boost a little bit without Embiid in the lineup. You can maybe look to Rashawn Holmes, who could be starting, and 3,600 on both sides. That's about it, though.
Yeah, I don't mind Sergio Rodriguez, but I feel like there's better options tonight. If it was a 4 or 5 game slate, he'd be an interesting option maybe in this game, but I'm not going there. And then on the Indy side, a guy that I've been playing a ton, and he's just outproducing his price every night, is CJ Miles. And I'm going to play him again, and that's probably my only exposure I'm going to have to Indy here.
Yeah, I really like that call. He's been playing pretty big minutes off the bench, and he's just been super productive. His shot's just on fire right now, and he's one of those guys that, could see a little bit of garbage time if the game does turn into a blowout. So I do like that call. One other guy, Ersan Ilyasova, did you have any interest there? With Embiid out?
I guess a little. I would think that he's the kind of guy that's blowout proof too.
Yeah, and 3,700 on FanDuel.
Yeah, that price.
26 minutes a game, last 3. So
I guess I could take a flyer there. I don't mind it, but I'm not paying up for Paul George. Jeff Teague, I guess, is a little interesting, but his minutes have only been 27, 28 here lately. Miles Turner, 24 minutes over the last few games, averaging. It's just I just don't see a lot here for Indy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point with the bigs. Their minutes are trending in the wrong direction. So for now, I think we should avoid it.
Yeah, outside of CJ Miles, a guy that I feel like will outproduce his salary once again. Let's move on. We have Chicago at Atlanta, 203 total in this game. Atlanta favored by 3. It's a back-to-back for Atlanta, and they're still favored in this game. We'll start with the Bulls. Anything stand out to you here for Chicago?
Not really. Really tough spot overall. Atlanta's a tough place to play, and they're ranked 6th in points allowed per game and 6th in rebounding differential. So not a ton to like. Jimmy Butler's been pretty good for the Bulls, coming off of a big game the other night. He's probably the only guy I'd look at, but not a ton of interest here.
Jimmy Butler in competitive games is going to be a thing this year. Outside of that, I'm not playing Rondo. I love point guards against Atlanta, but I'm still not going there on Rondo. It wouldn't shock me if Rondo has a big game. I will say that. Taj Gibson, I've been playing him for value, but we're looking at a team that's top 6 or 7 in points allowed against power forwards this year. So I'm not going to Gibson here. I'm not going to Meritek. I like the Butler call. Maybe Rondo if you're playing multiple tournament lineups, but that's it.
Yep. I think that's it. And I saw a stat the other day. Rajon Rondo has just been, when he's on the floor, the Bulls just haven't been great. They've just been really good when he's been off the floor. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues.
Now, looking at the Atlanta side of things here, Kyle Korver is supposed to come back here on the second day of the back-to-back. Dwight Howard left the game a little bit and had to have stitches in an upper lip. I think he actually came back, right?
Sorry, who was that?
Yeah, Dwight, he came back in the game, right? He just got the stitches and came back?
Yeah. I didn't even see that he got hurt. I've been watching the election all night.
Yeah, he got, I think it was an elbow or something. He got hit in the upper lip and had to have stitches. But looking at the Atlanta side of things, I have a little interest in Dwight here. But outside of that, maybe Millsap in a tournament. And I guess Schroeder against Rajon Rondo's defense.
Dude, Schroeder, I've been playing him pretty much every night. Finally starting to produce 35 fantasy points in back-to-back games. Rajon Rondo is just awful defensively. I really like the spot for Schroeder. But since I really like him, he'll probably let me down again.
Yeah, that's typically how it works in basketball, right? Easiest and most projected sport, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's been a lot of duds this year. Quite a few last night as well.
Yes, there was Gorgie Deng. Yes, there was.
Tristan, all my Wolves just dudded out.
Yeah, they did. They were looking forward to their matchup with Orlando where they were going to win by 20. Let's move on. We have Toronto at Oklahoma City here. 202 total in this game. Oklahoma City favored by 3.5. The big news that we need to pay attention to here is Valanciunas is questionable. He's dealing with a knee injury. He missed practice on Tuesday. If he's out, that opens up a lot of minutes. We'll start with the Toronto side. We're looking at a center that could be out that plays 30 minutes a game.
So do you know the name of their backup? Do you know how to pronounce it?
No, Lucas Nogueira.
No, the other guy.
Oh no, who's the other guy?
He went to the U, man. Well, my U, the U of you.
Well, then who?
Yeah. See, we call it the U here in Utah, but the real U is Miami, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, man, you're you. Did you go to Miami?
Yeah, in Utah, my little bubble, we call it the U. But anyway, Jakob Poeltl could draw the start at center.
Who?
Yeah, big white guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any interest if he starts?
I think he's going to be min salary everywhere, so maybe a little bit.
I'm going to continue to fade DeMar DeRozan. Don't care who he's playing. That's just my thing this year. If DeMar DeRozan, I've said it multiple times in the pod, if he has an MVP type season, I'm going to lose money. I'm so mad that he did it over the weekend when I was, doing baseball or doing NASCAR and football, and he finally didn't have a game where he shot over 50%. So I like Kyle Lowry here. He's been playing a ton of minutes. Matchup with Westbrook, star against star. I always like targeting these types of matchups. It's kind of it for me.
Yep, I'm on Team Lowry over Team DeRozan as well. Definitely a better matchup. Westbrook likes to take a lot of chances defensively, but not a great one-on-one defender. And pretty much the only way to attack the Thunder is with the point guard. So I like the Lowry call. Price is still affordable pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, 76 on FanDuel. You're getting all those minutes. Patrick Patterson playing the minutes just doesn't do anything with the minutes. That's what's so frustrating about him.
Yeah, he's the worst. He'll play 40 minutes and get 12 fantasy points.
Looking at Oklahoma City on the other side, what's your thoughts here on Westbrook in this game where they're a little bit favored and he is the offense?
So he's probably one of the most matchup-proof players that we have in the NBA. Him and James Harden, who we're going to get to. But I don't think he has that elite upside that we're looking for at this price. I mean, the Raptors have a really good defense. Kyle Lowry is a pretty good defender. I guess if Jonas Valanciunas is out, they're not going to have a rim protector, which would help him immensely. So I guess I'll probably be keeping my eye on that.
Yeah, I don't. Adams, I guess he piques my interest because of minutes, right? Like you were saying, who's gonna guard Adams in this game?
Yeah, exactly. If Valanciunas is out, I think it's a boost to Westbrook and Adams both.
All right, let's move on. We have Detroit at Phoenix. Detroit's favorite in this game. It's a 203 total, 2.5 for Detroit. Phoenix, we don't know what's going on with Tyson Chandler. There was not a lot of news around it. They just said personal. We'll just have to pay attention to see if he's back for shoot-around. If he misses shoot-around, we'll have to just kind of go with the flow there. We'll start with the Detroit side. Is there anything that piques your interest here against Phoenix?
Yeah, nice matchup for them. Should be a pace-up game, and they have an implied total of 102.75 points, which is considerably higher than their season average. I think you can look to all five starters, really. Suns playing in the second half of a back-to-back. And like I mentioned, pace-up game. So, I mean, Ish Smith leads the team in true usage. I'm expecting a breakout game eventually. I think you can buy low on him now. You're the KCP whisperer. What are we doing with him?
Oh, man. This is like one of those, like, borderline ones. Little worried, and I'm never worried about his minutes. Little worried about the minutes. I know he had an awful game the other night, and that game got a blowout really quick. I don't mind the matchup. We've seen what, McCollum could do against this shooting guard defense. I'll probably have a little exposure to KCP tonight. It's not an all-in KCP night for me.
Yeah. Is there such thing as an all-in KCP night?
I've had a lot of big nights going all-in on KCP.
Well, next time you do, make sure to send me a thing.
Shoot you a text. Hey, Derek, play KCP all-in.
The other wings, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris, I'm fine with both of them. Andre Drummond really depends on the status of Tyson Chandler. He's a really good defender, so if he's out, I think it's a boost to Drummond.
I agree with that. And then, like, on the other side of this, like, if Chandler's out, it's a boost to Lynn because Drummond doesn't play defense.
Oh man, Lynn played 16 minutes last night.
Yeah, they were getting ready for the back-to-back. That's all.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed about that. I guess Portland does play pretty small, so I think if Chandler's out again, he's going to have to play big minutes against Andre Drummond. There is some foul concern there. Len did have troubles with that last year, but I think he's in a good spot.
If Chandler's back, he was a guy that I was interested in on Tuesday night, and I'll definitely be interested in him on Wednesday night. Devin Booker, TJ Warren, I have no issues with either one of these guys. I know Booker had a mediocre game. He still shot the ball 18 times. Warren didn't have a big game either. He still shot the ball 12 times. Like, these guys are just shooting the ball so much that they have to be in play every night until they just get out of price.
Yeah, I agree. I wish their prices didn't come up the way they did. I mean, I guess it's good for ownership, but it's going to be tough to pay, mid 6Ks for those guys. KCP is a good perimeter defender. Marcus Morris isn't bad. So not an ideal spot, but like you mentioned, the shot volume is going to be there.
Shot volume is always fun. Let's move on. We have Houston at San Antonio, 210.5 total in this game. San Antonio is favored by 7.5. No injury news on Houston. On San Antonio, we have a question mark on Tony Parker, and Danny Green is expected to play in this game. He's expected back. We'll start with the Houston side of things. James Harden, let's move on.
Yeah. So there's two scenarios that's going to happen here. I mean, James Harden's going to have a big game, and it'll be fairly close, or the Spurs are going to shut him down, and it's going to be a blowout. I don't really see any other, option.
I think James Harden is an excellent tournament player on the slate. At this point, like, he's just so good right now. 30 points with double digits assists in 4 straight games. That's just nutty. And if he does it again tonight, he ties MJ for the only person to do it 5 times in a row.
Yeah, and some pretty good company right there.
Yeah. Michael Jordan's good at basketball. I agree. Just outside of Harden, there's just no interest for me here. No interest at all, any of these guys.
Yeah, I agree. I was on Ryan Anderson a little bit the other night just because Eric Gordon moved to the bench. But I think Gordon will be back in the starting lineup. I think that was more of a matchup play.
Yeah, and then on the San Antonio thing, like, I think Kawhi Leonard in this game, a team that doesn't play defense, a little bit faster pace. Like, Vegas is telling us, like, they're expecting a little bit faster pace than San Antonio is used to here with a 210 total.
Oh, yeah. Their implied totals at 109, the third highest of the teams that we currently have right now. So give me all the Kawhi Leonard. I like targeting him in tough matchups, so I'm certainly going to play him against the Rockets.
Yeah, like, I kind of it's not necessarily a game stack, but the correlation of Harden and Kawhi, if this game stays close, those two guys could go bonkers in this game.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. And, just with Kawhi, I mean, he has such a high usage this year. They're just looking to him so often in this offense. I love the play in all formats. Tony Parker?
It depends if he plays, right? Like, even if he plays, I just don't – how healthy is he? Like, that's my issue.
Yeah, I haven't played him yet this year. But, I'm seeing him listed as probable, 3,900. I guess, I still probably won't go there, though.
No, the only Spur that really stands out to me is Kawhi. I guess if you want to play LaMarcus Aldridge in a tournament, if the game stays close, he could have a good game. But, like, I'll probably just correlate Harden and Kawhi on some teams, and I'll definitely have Kawhi by himself because I feel like it's his team this year.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you. Did you know Pau Gasol's still in the league?
Yeah, right?
I keep forgetting now. It's kind of weird.
He's taking over the Tim Duncan role, man. 25 minutes a night, just doing what he has to do.
Yeah, at least Tim Duncan had a big game every once in a while.
Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge is sitting. Gasol will have a big game against somebody one of these nights.
All right, it'll happen.
Maybe not. We'll have to see. Let's move on. We have Portland at LA taking on the Clippers. 207 total in this game. Clippers favored by 9. Aminu left the game on Tuesday night. We'll have to see what his status is on Wednesday. Right now, I'm just putting him as a questionable. If it was serious enough for him to leave the game Tuesday night, I'm going to kind of guess that it's going to be tough for him. It's a calf strain to be ready for Wednesday, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say that he's going to be out. it'd be interesting to see who they would plug in the starting lineup, whether they'd go big with like Myers Leonard or smaller with Devin Turner. Either way, I don't love this spot for the Blazers. Not only is it back-to-back, but the Clippers are ranked first in most defensive categories this season. And then Blazers projected to score under 100 points.
Yeah, Clippers, man, they've been really, really solid to start the season. I like Lillard all the time. I just don't know if I'm going to go there here. Like, I love him against Stars. He always shows up in these types of matchups, but you're paying such a premium for him on an 11-game slate. I just don't know if the ceiling's there on this slate.
Yeah, I can't go to Lillard. The only guy I'd maybe consider would be Harkless. He's been seeing a big boost in minutes, and if Aminu's out, I think that'll only go up.
Why you got to be so heartless, man? I had to take a cheesy joke there. Had to take it. Look at the Clippers side of things. The problem with the Clippers in this game, like outside of Paul, is I don't expect Portland to keep this game relatively close, and just limits the upside on these prices that we're having to pay for Griffin and Paul.
Yeah, I don't know what DraftKings or the Clippers did to DraftKings, but for every reason they're just too cheap every night. I mean, Chris Paul 8,700, Griffin 8,200, and DeAndre 6,400. It's technically a good matchup. I do worry about the blowout, like you mentioned. But I am interested a little bit in DeAndre Jordan. I've been off of him this year, but Blazers are ranked 29th in rebounding differential and probably going to be without their power forward. I think this could be a blow-up spot for Jordan.
Yeah, I don't mind Jordan. I went into the well really heavy in the last game, so I kind of like Blake for the same reason that you like Jordan here. Honestly, it's just a slate that I probably won't have too much of either one of these guys just because I worry about the blowout so much.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, last game of the night. We have Dallas on a back-to-back heading to Golden State. No total in this game yet. Ton of injury news, though. Darren Williams, Dirk, and Harris, none of these guys traveled on this West Coast 2-game trip. So these guys, all three of these guys are out. We'll start with the Dallas side. I don't expect them to keep this game close.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors were favored by 17 the other night against the Pelicans. You got to think, and a Dallas team that's missing, a few of its best players, what's it going to be? At least 17 again?
Yeah, I would think so. You got to have interest in J.J. Barea. Obviously, anytime Williams is out and Harris is out, like Barea is going to play so many minutes at point guard.
Yeah, if they can keep this game close, it'll probably be because of Barea. He's just been awesome. I've been playing him every night. I'm probably going to avoid him in cash games just because I am worried about the blowout. But Harrison Barnes, he's been awesome too, and it's a revenge spot.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes still cheap too, and he's going to play a ton of minutes. He's been playing a ton of minutes, and coming off of a 39-minute game the night before. They haven't played a back-to-back yet this season, so we don't know what his minutes are going to be like in a back-to-back, but I just don't see how they don't give him minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, Rick Carlisle, veteran coach, we saw it last year. When the game gets out of hand, he's just going to sit his guys, so definitely some blowout concern. Seth Curry, minimum on DraftKings. He had a big game last night, 22, 4, 4, and 3. Any interest there?
Slight interest, I guess.
He's probably the only blowout-proof guy on the line in the lineup.
Against his brother, yeah, I could see that. Like, if this game becomes a blowout, who else is going to play? Who else? Not even that. Who else is going to take shots in the blowout minutes?
This Finney Smith guy?
No.
Oh, Andrew Bogut revenge. Forgot about that revenge too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
hey, Senators against Golden State has been a thing this year.
Yeah.
Zaza revenge too.
Oh, there's so much revenge in this game.
So much, possibly revenge that I'm going to avoid all of.
Yeah, I think it's Seth Curry, and then Barnes and Barea in tournament.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. I can get behind those guys, but it's one of those nights, right? We usually love the late games, and the two late games this in this slate are just at best.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. It seems like they're all the best defensive teams are playing tonight, and then we also have like 4 or 5 potential blowouts. So for an 11 game slate, it's not as exciting as most are.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be election hungover, so we'll have to see how it all plays out.
What about the Warriors? Anybody there?
Like, what do we do with them in a game we just know there's going to be a blowout? That's my problem.
Yeah, can they reach value in 3 quarters? That's pretty much what you have to ask.
Like, do you see any remote chance of them keeping this game close? I just don't see Dallas keeping this game close.
No, I don't. I don't see it happening.
I know Curry's coming off of a big game. He's still under 9K on FanDuel. He's probably going to be popular. I'm not saying fade him, but I feel like if I'm playing Curry, it'd probably be in a cash game.
Yeah, I'd probably go. I'd probably go the opposite. I'd probably play him in tournament, even though he's going to be popular. I don't know.
Yeah, but what would his tournament upside be? He is Steph Curry.
3-pointers other night.
He is Curry, but like he played 36 minutes in that game. You see him playing 36 minutes against Dallas tonight?
No, I definitely don't. So yeah, I mean, Klay Thompson would probably be the only guy I'm looking at. He's averaging 26 fantasy points a game, and he's yet to really hit any shots. So maybe look his way. He's a guy that could put up 30 actual points in 3 quarters.
He could put 30 points up in 1 quarter. Didn't he put up like 27?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, so I'm interested there. Probably not in any of the other guys.
Yeah, it's just I don't even know who to target like in a blowout scenario either. That's the problem.
Yeah, all the Seth Curry, I guess.
I do like. I think you talked me onto some Seth Curry love here. I did not have any interest in him whatsoever, and then when he duds, I'm coming after you. Don't worry.
All right, maybe I can be the Seth Curry whisperer after this game.
All right, we'll see how that works out. It's going to do it here, man. We got through those 11 games. It was quick. It was painless. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of fantasy goodness, but I have my 3 roster value plays here on this slate, and I'll read them off to you, and I'll let you critique and see how you feel about them. And I'm going to start with a guy that I don't think you're going to hate here. JJ Barea is only 8,400 on rosters.com tonight. That's just too cheap.
Yeah, 8,400 is still over there. Even in the potential blowout, you got to like him. Just be on the lookout. I mean, Rick Carlisle could end up resting guys and just totally waving the white flag.
Yeah. Then we like Seth Curry there more.
Dude, just play Seth. Why not?
All right. Well, next one I have is Otto Porter, 8,400. You already mentioned the Avery Bradley, Garden Bradley Beal. I do like Porter. I had him written down before I thought about the Avery Bradley thing, or you thought about it, and then you told me, and then I stole your stuff here. But 8,400, only needing like 24 points to get that 3x value. I like his price tag a lot.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there.
I'm expecting that game to be one of the higher totals too. We'll have to see when that line comes out at. And then the last game I have here is Trevor Booker. He's 7,900. I've been playing him on rosters almost every night. Don't love the matchup, but we have one of the highest totals on the slate in this game. He's going to hit value at 7,900.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We keep worrying about the minutes. He's not seeing more than 30 minutes a game, but he just keeps producing. So until that stops, just keep plugging him in there.
Yep. And, 7,900, that's an extreme value over at rosters where, we're paying up for these guys to, make the rest of your team work. So I like those guys, and that's where I'm going to be going at with value here. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, thanks for having me on. Fun as always. And, check out the Grind Down.
Yes, check out the Grind Down. If you guys enjoyed Notorious being on the podcast today, he'll go even more in depth with these plays in the Grind Down tomorrow. So make sure you guys are checking that out Monday through Friday. Also, all the first look information. And man, this guy is a beast, an absolute beast at PGA. If you guys do not have DraftKings incentives for PGA golf, you guys are missing out because Noto is a beast. And you've been trying to tell me for 2 years to play golf, and anytime you want to actually go play golf when you're in Florida, we'll go play. But, fantasy golf is just not my thing.
Oh, dude, the tournament this week's in Cancun. It's going to be fun to watch. I do want to plug one more thing, though. Our editor, Scott, came up with this new premium survey idea. He's been bugging me to plug it for a while. So incentive members, check that out. He has a bunch of questions every day about who our favorite plays are. So check that out.
Yeah, man, I enjoy doing that every day. I think it's fun. We were all pretty much on the same page today when it came to the plays that we liked. So it was definitely interesting. And a shout out to this is how good this is. STL Cards had his favorite value play on the board, Seth Curry, on this slate. And I think he put up 40 points.
Oh, wow, man. I should have listened to him. What am I thinking?
We might have a new Seth Curry whisperer. But yeah, guys, check that out. The FanDuel DraftKings expert survey for NBA. It's really fun to do. So I hope everybody's enjoying it. The comments that we get is funny and great at the same time. So yes. What Notorious said, check that out. But that's going to do it here for the Wednesday edition of the Morning Grind podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with the Thursday edition and the football edition. So make sure you guys are tuning in and checking that out. Also, check out all the awesome content here at Roto Grinders. That's going to do it. Good luck in your contest tonight, and we'll see you again tomorrow.